received a call from my editor asking me to investigate a strange sighting that the U.S. Coast Guard had reported off the coast of Florida. As a paranormal investigator, I was intrigued and immediately packed my bags to head down to the area to see what I could find. Once I arrived, I met with the Coast Guard officials who had reported the sighting. They were visibly shaken and insisted that they had seen a creature that they could not explain. I asked them to describe the creature to me, and they all agreed that it was unlike anything they had ever seen before. It was massive, one of them said, and it had these long, slimy tentacles that seemed to be reaching out towards us. I listened intently as they continued to describe the creature, taking notes as they spoke. After they had finished, I thanked them and headed out to the location where they had reported the sighting. As I made my way out onto the water, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching me. I tried to brush it off as nerves, but the sensation only grew stronger as I drew closer to the area where the Coast Guard had spotted the creature. And then, out of nowhere, I saw it. The creature was massive, just as they had described, and its tentacles reached out towards me, as if trying to grab hold of my boat. I could see its eyes, and they were unlike anything I had ever seen before. They glowed an eerie green color, and they seemed to be staring straight into my soul. I knew then that I had to get a closer look, to try to figure out what this creature was and where it had come from. I pulled out my camera and started snapping photos, hoping to capture some evidence of its existence. But just as quickly as it had appeared, the creature vanished back into the depths of the ocean, leaving me shaken and unsure of what to do next. I returned to shore and handed over my evidence to the Coast Guard officials, hoping that it might help them in their investigation. As I left Florida and headed back to my home in New York, I couldn't stop thinking about the creature that I had seen. It seemed to defy all logic and explanation, and I knew that I had stumbled upon something truly paranormal. And then, just a few weeks later, I received a call from my editor with even more startling news. There had been another sighting, this time off the coast of California, and the creature that was spotted there matched the description of the one that I had seen in Florida. I knew then that this was no coincidence. There was something out there, something that we couldn't explain or understand, and it was up to me to keep investigating, to try to uncover the truth behind these sightings and the creatures that had caused them. Over the next few months, I traveled the world, following leads and talking to witnesses. Everywhere I went, I heard stories of massive sea creatures, unlike anything that had ever been seen before, and in each case, the descriptions matched the creature that I had seen off the coast of Florida. Finally, after months of investigating, I stumbled upon a clue that would change everything. I found an old journal in a library in Scotland, written by a sailor who had encountered a similar creature hundreds of years earlier. According to the journal, the creature was not of this world. It had come from a distant planet, and it was drawn to Earth because of its vast oceans. The sailor had managed to capture the creature and bring it aboard his ship, but it had escaped and disappeared back into the ocean. With this information, I knew that I had to take a different approach. Instead of trying to capture the creature, I had to find a way to communicate with it. I reached out to some of the world's top scientists and researchers, hoping to find someone who could help me communicate with the creature. After months of searching, I finally found a team of experts who had been studying extraterrestrial communication for years. Together, we developed a plan to try to make contact with the creature. We knew that it was attracted to the ocean, so we decided to build a special underwater device that could transmit signals to it. We hoped that the creature would be able to understand our message and respond in some way. We installed the device in a remote location in the ocean and waited. For weeks, nothing happened. We were about to give up hope when suddenly we received a signal back. It was faint, but it was there. We had made contact with the creature. Over the next few months, we continued to communicate with the creature, learning more about its planet and its species. We discovered that it was not alone. that there were many other creatures like it out there in the vastness of space. But we also learned that the creature was dying. It had come to Earth in search of a new home, a place where it and its kind could live out their final days. And as it communicated with us, we could sense its desperation, its fear that it would not find what it was looking for. We knew then that we had to help the creature. We worked tirelessly, using all of our knowledge and resources to try to find a way to save it. And finally, after months of research, we found a solution. We constructed a massive underwater sanctuary, a place where the creature and its kind could live out the rest of their days in peace. And we transported the creature to its new home, watching as it swam off into the depths of the ocean, free and safe at last. As I looked on, I knew that we had accomplished something truly remarkable. We had made contact with a creature from another planet, and we had saved its life. And in doing so, we had opened up a whole new world of possibilities, a world where anything was possible, and where the mysteries of the universe could be unlocked, one discovery at a time. I was on duty with the U.S. Coast Guard off the coast of Miami when we received a distress signal from a boat that was sinking. We immediately set out to sea, hoping to reach the boat in time to save the people on board. As we approached the area where the boat was supposed to be, we saw something strange. A group of people appeared to be standing on the water as if they were walking on it. We were shocked and confused, but we quickly realized that something paranormal was happening. We tried to get closer to the group, but the closer we got, the more we felt an eerie sensation. It was as if something was trying to keep us away from them. Suddenly, we saw the group of people sink beneath the water's surface, disappearing without a trace. We searched the area for hours, but we couldn't find any signs of the boat or the people. It was as if they had vanished into thin air. We reported the strange occurrence to our superiors, but they didn't believe us. They thought that we were making it up, or that we had been hallucinating due to exhaustion or some other reason. But I knew what I had seen. There was no way that it could have been a hallucination or a trick of the light. Something truly paranormal had happened that day off the coast of Miami, and I couldn't shake the feeling that we had stumbled upon something beyond our understanding. Over the years, I tried to forget about the incident, but I couldn't. It haunted me, filling my dreams with images of people sinking beneath the waves and never coming back up. I couldn't help but wonder what had happened to them, and if there was anything that we could have done to save them. Then, one day, I received a message from a researcher who was studying paranormal phenomena. He had heard about the incident off the coast of Miami and wanted to interview me about what I had seen. At first, I was hesitant to talk about it, but as I spoke with the researcher, I realized that he was genuinely interested in understanding what had happened. He had a theory that the group of people we saw had been ghosts, spirits who had been lost at sea and were trying to make contact with the living. As we talked more, I realized that his theory made sense. It explained the strange sensation we had felt as we approached the group, and it also explained why we couldn't find any trace of the people or the boat after they had sunk. The researcher and I decided to investigate the area where we had seen the group of people sink, hoping to find some evidence of their presence. As we searched, we found a small abandoned island nearby that seemed to have been used as a burial ground for sailors who had died at sea. We continued our investigation, and as we delved deeper into the island's history, we discovered that it was rumored to be haunted by the spirits of sailors who had been lost at sea. The more we learned, the more convinced we became that the group of people we had seen sinking off the coast of Miami had been the spirits of these sailors trying to make contact with the living world. In the end, we couldn't say for certain what had happened that day off the coast of Miami, but we knew that it was something truly paranormal. And as we left the island, I couldn't help but wonder if there were other spirits out there, lost at sea and waiting for someone to hear their call. I was a U.S. sailor on a routine mission in the South Pacific in 2005 when I stumbled upon something truly strange. As we sailed through uncharted waters, we spotted an island that wasn't on any of our maps. Intrigued, we decided to investigate. As we approached the island, we noticed something odd about its appearance. It was covered in thick, lush vegetation, and there didn't seem to be any signs of human habitation. But as we got closer, we began to notice movement among the trees. At first we thought that it might be some kind of wildlife, but as we drew even closer, we realized that the creatures on the island were unlike anything we had ever seen before. They were humanoid in shape, but their skin was scaly and reptilian, and they seemed to be communicating with each other in some kind of guttural language. We were stunned, unsure of what to do. We had never encountered anything like this before, and we weren't sure if the creatures were dangerous or not. We decided to anchor the ship and send a scouting party to the island to gather more information. As the scouting party approached the island, they realized that the creatures were intelligent. They had built primitive huts and had tools made from bones and stones. The scouting party tried to communicate with the creatures, but they didn't seem to understand human language. The sailors returned to the ship and reported what they had seen to our superiors. We were ordered to stay away from the island, and our mission continued as if nothing had happened. But I couldn't stop thinking about the strange creatures we had encountered. I was convinced that there was more to the island than what we had seen. Over the years, I became obsessed with the island and the creatures that lived there. I read everything I could find on the subject, and even went so far as to contact experts in various fields to see if they could shed any light on the matter. Finally, in 2017, I received a message from a group of researchers who were studying paranormal phenomena. They had heard about the island and wanted to know more about what I had seen. I was hesitant to speak with them at first, but as we talked, I realized that they were genuinely interested in the subject and might be able to help me uncover the truth about the island and its strange inhabitants. We arranged to visit the island together, and as we approached, I could feel a sense of unease growing inside me. I knew that we were about to uncover something truly extraordinary, and I wasn't sure if I was ready for it. As we landed on the island, we saw that the creatures were still there, watching us with wary eyes. But this time, we had brought special equipment that allowed us to communicate with them in their own language. To our surprise, the creatures were willing to talk to us. They told us that they were the last survivors of an ancient race that had lived on the island for thousands of years. They had been driven to the brink of extinction by human encroachment and had retreated into the deep jungle to escape. We learned that the creatures had developed a sophisticated society and had even made contact with other intelligent species on other planets. They showed us incredible technology and knowledge that we could never have imagined. But as we spoke with the creatures, I couldn't help but feel a sense of sadness. They were the last of their kind, isolated on an island that the rest of the world had forgotten about. And I knew that there was nothing we could do to help them. As we left the island, I couldn't shake the feeling that I had just witnessed something truly paranormal. The creatures we had encountered were beyond anything we had ever seen before, and I knew that their story would stay with me forever. After we left the island, I spent years trying to convince the scientific community of what we had witnessed. But the evidence we had gathered was so extraordinary that most experts simply dismissed it as a hoax or a hallucination. It wasn't until 2021, when another group of sailors stumbled upon the island, that the truth was finally revealed. They too had seen the creatures and had managed to capture some of them for further study. Their findings confirmed everything we had seen and more. The creatures were indeed intelligent and had a society that rivaled our own. They possessed technology and knowledge that was far beyond our understanding. But the most remarkable thing they discovered was that the island itself was not a natural formation. It had been created by the creatures as a sanctuary, a place where they could escape the destruction wrought by humans. In the end, the discovery of the island and its strange inhabitants changed the course of human history. It showed us that we are not alone in the universe and that there are other intelligent species out there waiting to be discovered. But for me, the memory of the island and its creatures will always be tinged with a sense of sadness. They were a testament to what could have been if humans had not been so destructive. And as I look out at the vast expanse of the ocean, I can't help but wonder what other secrets lie hidden beneath its surface waiting to be discovered.